I live a multifaceted life. I don't mean like I'm a spy or anything, but I just got home from a music festival in the mountains of Alberta. This is the trip journal that I took while I was there. Here's the wristband that marks me as a musician. I've only been home for like less than an hour, and I'm looking for an excuse not to unpack yet. So I was just going through some of my thoughts. And while I was there, I picked up some bottles, one of which I will open with you guys soon. That was gifted to me. Well, not gifted to me. A friend of mine through the music picked it up for me while I was in Scotland, and I just sort of paid her back. That one I'm quite excited to open. But here's something I've been sitting on for a while. I don't know what the batch number on this might be, or if they even do batch it, but this is the Springbank Cask Strength 12. It's at 56.2%. I said in a previous episode that I would not review this because I feel that it would be a useless review, and I don't want to do a useless review. Why is it going to be a useless review? Because nobody can get it. It's a unicorn. And I've already said, I don't feel that unicorns are necessarily relevant in the way I see relevance, in terms of I watch reviews for stuff that I might have a snowball's chance in hell of buying one day. And I don't want to do reviews of stuff that most people can't. That did not open properly. Well, this is off to a shining start. But yeah, so I've been out west for about a week, maybe 10 days. And before I get into the unpacking and all that stuff, I want to just take maybe a half hour to sit with a dram by myself. There were drams, let me tell you. Celtic bands are a drinking bunch. But just sort of decompress. A dram by myself. Maybe I'll catch up on some of my YouTubing, see what John from the Whiskey Neighbor has been doing, see if Vin from No Nonsense Whiskey, see what he's been doing, the guys from Whiskey Rant. And I think it's time to open this. I have not tasted Springbank in so long. I almost called it Stringbank there. I haven't tasted this in so long that I don't really know what to expect. I do remember liking it. While I let that sit for about 12 minutes, I will be right back. I will edit this part. But aside from that, I'm going to try to do no editing. Okay. So, it's been about 10-12 minutes. I started this off by saying that I lead a multifaceted life. By that I mean, I have a day job. I have a whiskey YouTube channel. I have a bushcraft YouTube channel. And I play electric bass in a Celtic sort of roots pop rock pub band that gets to go and do a sort of small Alberta tour every year. Hang around with some new friends and some old friends we made on previous trips to Alberta. Culmination of the time there is a music fest called the East Coast Kitchen Party. I know the East Coast is not in Alberta, but the bands that play there are by and large from the East Coast. It's mostly Newfoundland bands, a couple of local Alberta bands, and then there's us from Quebec. And I hope that we don't stop doing that gig, because we've made some really good friends out there, some people that I'm glad are in my life. And all of them love good whiskey. And here in Montreal, I don't have a whiskey clique or a whiskey group or a bunch of whiskey pals to enjoy this stuff with. And I've said before, and I do back the statement, that whiskey is meant to be shared. It's best when you're enjoying it with someone else. The best I can do right now is to share the experience of me opening this bottle with you guys. It's very lively. I'm picking up like a may sound crazy, but you know, if you barbecue fruit like pineapple, like the rounds of pineapple, you know, you take out the core. If you barbecue those, or like peaches or something like that, there's a touch of that because there's a fiery note. Getting a bit of salt water, which I'm glad about. I do love a salt water note. I don't know if this is peated because I have ignored Springbank, like videos, write-ups and everything, so I don't know much about it really. But I do pick up just a touch of maybe a peat. Springy, like the maritime note, and there's an airy kind of meadowy herbaceousness that sort of gives me an image of like a seaside meadow with some heather or something growing in it. Very sweet as well. There's a big sweet note there. Kind of a honeyed note. Looks beautiful. I'm looking to see if there's any part of the label that talks about caramel color, free of artificial start that again. Free of artificial coloring, and it is not chill filtered. This will cause a slight natural haze to form when it is cold, but this will disappear when the temperature returns to normal. I think that is what one would call an integrity bottling. And I'm going to go in. That's very large. That is very brash. That is a powerful sip, let me tell you. Part of that obviously is 56.2%, but there's a lot happening there. That charred fruit thing is definitely still there. I don't know, I'm getting like a nuttiness. Definitely saltwater magic in there for sure. There's a maritime thing that I'm loving. Something kind of dessert-like. I'm pretty sure there's a little bit of peat in there. Not a lot, but, or if there isn't, I'll be surprised. I'm gonna look it up after we're done here. But the finish is just going, but the fruit disappears and the sweetness disappears, and it becomes something herbaceous or herbal, something green, not flowery. You know, I mean, like green herbs or plants. So look, Springbank is exquisite, but it will never necessarily be as good as you think it's going to be because of all the hullabaloo around these bottles. It's absolutely a victim of its own success. It's a really good whiskey. Absolutely. But unicorns are almost never quite as good as their reputations bring them out to be. Not because they're no good, not because there's a lack of skill, but because magic happens in our minds around this logo, this label. We think it's going to be freaking ambrosia. And I'll be straight with you, it ain't far off. But when everyone gets their first bottle of Springbank, I don't think the image we get of it through what people keep saying and writing and everything is fair to the bottle. It's fair to the makers. It's fair to the distillery. Because imagine the pressure that one must feel putting out something that's this storied. Especially, I don't know if this is batched. If it's batched, are some batches better than others? This is great. I don't know if this is not a fabulous batch, though. I don't see a batch number, so I'm just going with, like, very often, Cask Strength will be batch-esque, because each cask is not the same ABV, right? I gotta have another sip. And my memory did not do it justice. Because it had been so long since I've tasted this, I had no idea what to expect. Warm on the tongue. Spicy. I'm not sure what the spice is like, though. I kind of want to say cardamom, but I'm not sure. Go away, mosquito. We had some very good whiskey up in the mountains. You know, my fiddler and I were both members of the Scotch Malt Whisky Society for a while. We both let our memberships lapse this year. We picked up a Gordon and MacPhail Glen Grant, I think, for up in the mountains, an 11-year-old, which was delish. We brought up a bottle of Tullamore Dew as well, you know, as a second run contender. That's the one you put in the flask, right? And it's nice to just have a quiet dram by myself and reflect on the fabulous week I've just had. Fabulous week. Some absent friends, you know, we're all getting old. But all in all, made some new friends, played some great tunes, had some fabulous jam sessions that went till like 3 in the morning. And now I'm back here and I'm about to go and do my laundry. This is a good bottle to sit here and just unwind with. Makes you work for it. But it's worth it. It's worth the work. It's nice to be home. Thanks, guys.